Welcome to the dark side of the autistic community. I'm Thomas Henley, and today we're going to be having a look at a very interesting video. Does Diet Coke cause autism? That is the question. OSM Vision has created this interesting video. I believe that it starts off with a clip from Joe Rogan. So we know from prior experience that Joe Rogan is always, sort of introducing a clip. It's always going to be a very factual, sort of non-conspiratorial type video. The amount of times that we see stuff online about this causes autism or that causes autism, or to be careful of this, or you could have an autistic child. We see a lot of that stuff, and it makes you kind of think sometimes that perhaps if people stop worrying about where exactly we came from, they would start to worry a little bit more about our experiences in modern life, which I don't know if my experiences in teenage childhood, early adulthood have been pretty there. Can't imagine what other people's experiences are. Well, I can. So this was posted 1 day ago. Okay, let's give a reference.
If you read that news study, something shocking about like 1 out of 3 women who drank Diet Coke during pregnancy had an autistic kid.
Oh my God. So it says a team of researchers.
Oh my God. Autistic people? 1 in 3. Do you have any facts to back that up? You got some sources? Can you pull up the sources, Jeremy? Thank you.
Researchers said they have observed a link between autism diagnosis in boys and their mothers drinking at least 1 diet soda daily or consuming the equivalent amount of the sweetener aspartame during pregnancy or while breastfeeding, according to new study.
Imagine walking through your local supermarket
whilst breastfeeding. I mean, the fact that they brought that up is quite interesting, isn't it? Because autism is a genetic thing. It's neurodevelopmental. It doesn't mean that you grow up from baby to toddler and develop autism in that time. It's something that you develop in the womb. The fact that they've mentioned breastfeeding, it's a bit sus. I don't think this is going to be it's going to be something, possibly. Perhaps a waste of time. Perhaps just very irritating. Anyway, let's let them speak. Let them speak.
Passing by aisle after aisle, filled with products promising to be sugar-free, diet, and low-calorie. What's the secret ingredient behind these claims? Aspartame.
Not always.
A chemical sweetener found in over 6,000 products worldwide. From your favorite Diet Coke to the sugar-free gum in your pocket.
I swear to God, it must be more than 6,000. Does Monster Energy have aspartame in it? Probably. Acidity regulator, preservatives, sweeteners, sucralose. Nope, no aspartame. You're good to drink Monsters. Although the caffeine's probably not the best, is it? Breastfeeding before birth? That would be interesting.
Pocket. Aspartame is everywhere. But how did this artificial sweetener discovered by accident become a staple in so many products? And more importantly, is it safe?
The popular artificial sweetener aspartame that's found in everything from diet soda to chewing gum is back under renewed scrutiny.
Aspartame is in a lot of things. Cereals, gums, candies, gelatins.
Right. I think we need to inject a little bit of context for this, because there is a tendency of a lot of people there's a lot of studies that can be out there which can correlate one thing to another thing. But it does not always mean that one thing actually causes the increase in the other thing. It may just be, it's a correlation in data. You can find weird correlations between lots of different things in life. And there has been a lot of, I think it's because of this whole sort of natural, sort of self-growth kind of modern life rejection sort of thing that I've seen going on in YouTube. And sweeteners is one of those things it's a very big point of contention that a lot of people have. But as far as I've seen, just kind of sweeteners in general, perhaps barring those of them that aren't sort of on the safe list, they're generally quite safe. It's generally quite researched. They're very good if you are wanting to reduce your sugar intake for a variety of different reasons. Perhaps you're completely addicted to fizzy drinks, and perhaps you're having some dental issues, perhaps you're having some weight issues. Swapping in your daily Coca-Cola for a Diet Coca-Cola, I don't see anything wrong with that. But apparently this study does, because if you have 1 a day and you're pregnant, you have a 1 in 3 chance of that child being autistic.
Even toothpaste, and of course diet sodas.
No, sorry for interrupting. Aspartame, as you know, is found in thousands of products like diet sodas and sugar-free gum. And for a product so widely used, there should be no shadow of a doubt about its safety.
The FDA, which is the federal agency that's ultimately responsible for ensuring that the chemicals in our food are safe, should similarly take steps to protect consumers from aspartame as they are required to by federal law. Both FDA and industry can and should make it easier for consumers to make healthy and safe choices at a grocery store.
Aspartame was discovered in 1965 by chemist James Schlatter, who was working on an anti-ulcer drug. In an unexpected twist, he licked his finger and noticed a sweet taste, leading to the birth of a new artificial sweetener.
Have you ever heard of aspartame?
Did not know that.
What's that? Have you heard of it? Aspartame, Aspartame, have you heard of it?
It's the harrowing music in the background. Dum dum dum. Sorry, I'm a little bit sick today. Including the naughty. Bree says, stretching my back on an exercise ball right now after a long day at my desk job. That is a good idea. I'm jealous. I do not have an exercise ball. No Opinion says, I wondered how well controlled their control group is. Probably a bunch of 20-year-old non-aspartame consumers versus a bunch of 40-year-old aspartame consumers. Well, we don't know. I mean, do they have links to the studies? I mean, I can't really complain that they don't. I don't tend to do that either, to be honest, but they've provided a list of what contains aspartame. Pretty much all of the drinks, the chewing gums, the yogurts, the sweeteners, of course, candies, sweets, medicines, baking products, condiment sauces. Yeah, just a whole bunch of stuff, Well, let's see what the general public thinks of aspartame. They can't just say sweetener. you have to use the chemical name, because it sounds scary.
Have you ever heard of aspartame?
No, I don't know.
Have you ever heard of aspartame? No.
No, I've never heard of it. What is it?
No.
Have you ever heard of aspartame?
No, I haven't.
It's infecting your children with the autism. I'd really like to see some data on what the mechanism of how aspartame sort of affects the development of the child's brain in the womb so that they'll become autistic. It seems pretty far-fetched, doesn't it? Really. Just assuming that this is BS, yeah, me too.
Have you ever heard of aspartame?
No.
Have you ever heard of aspartame?
Aspartame? No, I can't say it.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of aspartame?
No.
But as aspartame became more widely used, families unknowingly incorporated this chemical into their daily diets. The question we must ask ourselves today is, at what cost? Aspartame is made up of 3 components: aspartic acid. How the
Phenyl
am I supposed to
aniline.
get that? 1 second.
Phenyl aniline.
Aspartic acid, phenylalanine, and methanol.
Yeah, there you go.
Together they form a compound 200 times sweeter than sugar, but with 0 calories. This might sound like a miracle.
It's because it's 200 times sweeter than sugar. It kind of... I'm not even sure that you can properly digest sweetener, can you? You eat pure sugar. Can you digest aspartame? Like sweeteners and stuff? I'm sure you'd be able to do it with some, but if it's that sweet, the amount that you would need to add is so minimal that it probably wouldn't need to register as any sort of calorie. Anyway, I'm nitpicking. What is this video, lol?
Miracle solution, but the reality is far more complex. When you consume aspartame, it interacts with your taste receptors, tricking your brain into thinking you've consumed sugar.
Yep. You start to sort of release amylase. You release it in your salivary glands. You also perhaps release a little bit in your stomach just to, await the sugar that's going to come down so it can break it up, digest it, all that kind of stuff. I have not sweets. I have not. How can someone talk about these things with not done the research to back it up? Yeah. I don't know. I mean, people talk on YouTube about a lot of stuff, including myself, and I am not one to reference things because I just don't have the time or resource to do so. But yeah, it's I don't know. It's falling in line with a lot of the stuff that I've seen recently about modern day products. Just everything. I mean, diet in general. There's been so many iterations and conversations about diet to the point where things that are considered to be healthy are now very unhealthy in other people's minds. And the things that are very unhealthy are seen to be very healthy in some people's minds. And you can just go in a kind of loop. You know, they all have their reasons for why they think that way. And they sort of do make sense to a certain degree. But it's a very confusing place, the world of diet and supplements and all that, because, you know, to a certain degree, like you can do research on that stuff, but also like it's dependent, like health factors are dependent on like a multitude of different things and how much you are consuming of a certain thing, for example. I mean, it's very serious to claim that aspartame causes autism. Yeah. No, of course. Yeah, I'm not ignoring that fact. Maybe they'll include some study links that we can look through.
But this illusion doesn't just satisfy your sweet tooth. It can actually lead to increased cravings for sweet foods, potentially leading to weight gain and other metabolic issues.
Yeah, or it could just make you fancy another artificially sweetened drink. Maybe. The body doesn't know what to do with it. Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's definitely not like, if you could just drink water instead of Diet Coke, I think that would be great. But usually it's a replacement for sugary drinks. You know, like if someone asked me, oh, should I drink filtered water or Diet Coke for my health? Like, obviously I'd say drink the filtered water. You know, it's generally not the reason why diet drinks are out there. Is because people love sugary drinks and they just don't want to get the calories and the sugar in their teeth and stuff that, you know. Welcome to the information age where there's nothing but division and everyone can find a study that proves their point of view. Yeah. I mean, generally on these things, I think just consulting with like a dietitian, something like that, just asking them a question, saying, is there any validity to that? Like usually if it's really fringe related things, like they'll just say, oh, well, it's, you know, I've had a look into that. It's not really that conclusive, you know. And the media, science media, newspapers, articles, you know, they'll jump on something which sounds like a good headline. You know, and that's kind of the way that it works. And then they have to backtrack once it comes out that, you know, perhaps their conclusions were a little bit ambitious, you know. Hello, Kathy. Isabella says, I don't think it's healthy, but has nothing to do with autism. Yeah. People get carried around amino acids as well. Yeah, for sure.
The food industry was quick to adopt aspartame, marketing it as a healthy alternative to sugar. Advertisements from the 1980s and the 1990s promised that you could enjoy all of the sweetness without the calories, leading to a surge in popularity. But what these advertisements didn't mention was the potential health risks lurking behind this sweet facade. The journey of aspartame to our supermarket shelves wasn't smooth. In fact, it was riddled with controversy and scientific disputes. Initial studies on aspartame raised significant concerns about its safety, leading the FDA to reject its approval several times. The FDA's hesitation stemmed from studies suggesting that aspartame could be linked to brain tumors in rats. Despite this, the food industry pushed hard for its approval, leading to years of intense debate and investigation. In 1981, the FDA finally approved aspartame for use in dry goods, and in 1983, it was approved for use in beverages, like Diet Coke. This approval, however, was not without controversy. Some accuse the FDA of succumbing to industry pressure, and the shadow of those initial safety concerns have never fully disappeared. As aspartame became more prevalent, so did concerns about its safety. Early studies linked aspartame to various health issues, including headaches, neurological disorders, and even cancer.
Breaking news to get you out of the world.
So just a small amount of things that it's linked to. If they were correlated well enough to declare any sort of causation to worry about, there would be some consistency amongst thousands of studies already conducted. Yeah. I mean, like, again, when I was talking about the whole sort of rejecting modern stuff, I mean, there is a really big sort of, I don't know how to, like, the whole controversy, sort of big pharma, big food, big beverage kind of attitude to things. Like, even people getting very, very sort of questioning sort of chemistry and biology. I've seen some people on the Joe Rogan Experience talking about a new type of maths. You know, it's madness, and I think it all comes from this. Is some like sensationalism, or like a wanting to be different, or wanting to sort of go back to our traditional roots, and wanting to like, yeah, it's kind of politicized a little bit, isn't it? And like, geez. I mean, I haven't had a window into like the big head office of Big Pharma, but I have definitely gone through an education in the sciences, a degree. And I've also talked to people who do that kind of research and that kind of stuff. And you know, it's pretty, you know, they're pretty balanced in their views. They only really go to stuff if it makes sense, if there's evidence for it. So usually when someone makes a wide, very, very out there claim about something that is, you know, it's a part of the structure, the government, the research institute or something, and they call out about it, people take it almost as serious. Some people take it more seriously than that organization group of people, because they're assuming that, like, they're trying to pull a wall over our eyes or something. Like, don't get me wrong, there are some, like, there are a lot of factors in, like, companies and businesses and things like that which could be selfish related. But, like, we're gonna listen to Joe Rogan instead of that. I'd like to put a bit more of my faith in the systems that we have, you know. Just a little bit, not fully, just a moderate amount, just like a reasonable amount of faith, you know. You know, the people who took us to the moon, the people who invented all sorts of crazy gadgets, and people who invented cures for diseases, and like they've got a bit more of a sort of a healthy track record, you know. No problem, Harriet. I'll see you later. My lord. Travel, the original aspartame TikTok actors Weber. That is just a lineup and a half.
The World Health Organization, which just in the last couple of minutes says aspartame is a possible cancer risk.
The World Health Organization now classifies the low-calorie sweetener aspartame as a possible carcinogen.
The WHO's International Agency for Research on Cancer is now classifying aspartame as a carcinogen, meaning it's capable of causing cancer, specifically liver cancer.
WHO has made the important recognition that there is evidence suggesting...
Yeah, this is not saying just go chug a whole carton of aspartame. You know. I imagine that there would be some negative effects to doing that for sure. But oh my lord. Okay, I keep pausing it. I'm just the stream of thoughts is coming to me in my very sick state. It's probably the aspartame, that's why I'm ill, of course. So I can feel my autism leveling up as I'm drinking down this sweetened beverage.
Suggesting that aspartame causes cancer in humans. So although more research might be needed to better understand the possible relationship between aspartame and cancer, this should be concerning for consumers, industry, and food safety officials. The Center for Science and the Public Interest has long advised that consumers should avoid aspartame based precisely on concerns that it might cause cancer. And now this respected international authority on cancer is echoing those concerns.
So as a toxicologist, where do you stand on this?
Well, I think consumers should avoid aspartame, and this is very important, they should not do so by replacing it with sugar.
These findings spark public concern and a media frenzy.
There you go. Should not do it by replacing it by sugar. Which is the reason why it's there. The guy with the curly long hair is on a permanent 2.5 times speed. Yeah, I wish I could talk that quickly. I'm getting better at talking quickly. I'm a slow talker naturally. Double autism, yeah. You can level it up. 1.5 times speed. Yeah, it's reasonable.
Testimonies began to surface from individuals who reported experiencing adverse effects from consuming aspartame. From debilitating migraines to serious neurological conditions, these stories added a human face to the growing concerns. The scientific community was divided. Some researchers called for more rigorous studies, while others dismissed these concerns as overblown. But one thing was clear, the safety of aspartame was far from settled.
Oh, here we go. Into the meat of it. I'd like to see what proportion of scientists were very, very concerned about it, because you know, that could be anything from 0.01% to like 25 to like 50%. You know, we need some numbers on what exactly that is. Where's your source? Give me a source. You have any? Can you fact check that for me? I immediately distrust any information presented with this spooky music. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's like they're kind of psychologically trying to manipulate you into like, ooh, you know, fearing it, feeling anxiety. It's a psyop.
In recent decades, autism diagnoses have risen dramatically, leading many to wonder what could be causing this increase.
Increased accuracy of diagnosis and awareness of autism. Most likely, very, very, very likely, more people being aware of it. I've seen him pull up these graphs so many times for different things. Percentage of 8-year-olds with autism diagnosis remained relatively stable in the UK throughout the 2000s, while annual rates in the US increased dramatically, particularly among 8-year-old boys. All right. The reasons for the wide discrepancy between the two countries remains unclear, although one contributing factor may be varying data collection methods. There you go. That seems pretty reasonable.
One theory that has gained attention is the potential connection between aspartame and autism.
My last 2 children were diagnosed with autism.
Okay.
And I am very, very passionate about anything to do with, you know, what's triggering it, because there's been a rise in it, and it's just ridiculous.
Aspartame was approved for...
Here's this one woman talking about the fact that she has birthed 2 children, and she's very concerned about aspartame. It's ridiculous. These kids growing up as an autistic person, we should be worried. Hide your kids, hide your wife, hide your aspartame. Look at you, Simon Baron Cohen. Yeah, come on, Simon. Do some digging into the conspiratorial nature of aspartame and autism. Layla says, I reduced my sugar intake years ago to reduce candida overgrowth in my gut. My biggest cravings are sour anyway. Bit of sweet and sour, you know. No aspartame though. You must cut it out immediately.
Approved for widespread use in the early 1980s, and not too long after, autism rates began to climb. Some researchers suggest that the phenylalanine in aspartame could interfere with brain development, potentially contributing to the rise in autism.
Aspartame, which is an artificial sweetener that's around 200 times sweeter than sucrose, is found in Diet Coke, and phenylalanine is part of aspartame. You can see here, aspartame is made up of another amino acid, aspartic acid, phenylalanine, and a methanol group. So phenylalanine...
So they're targeting an amino acid. Phenylalanine? I swear to God, like, if you eat meat, that's like a full amino acid profile, isn't it? Like, okay. Well, she speaks fast. I think this is actually sped up, to be honest. It's the methanol. It's that one. It's targeting our children.
Affects your brain. It's no wonder that aspartame also does as well.
So when I'm working with my patients and clients, there can be possible of nausea, headaches, there's a possibility of constipation, digestive complaints, upset stomach. These are things that could be possible, even fatigue and anxiety can be associated with taking phenylalanine.
However, this theory is highly controversial.
Okay, I can get behind
While
that.
the timeline is striking, many experts caution that correlation does not imply causation.
Yes.
Other factors such as increased awareness and changes in diagnostic criteria may also explain the rise in autism rates. Still, the possibility of a connection...
Yeah, just stop there. Just finish the video and just say that it's a highly controversial link to make.
cannot be dismissed outright.
Oh, okay, other health risks.
Beyond autism, aspartame has been linked to a range of other serious health issues. Studies have suggested that aspartame may increase the risk of cancer, migraines, metabolic disorders, and more. One particularly shocking study found that rats fed high doses of aspartame developed brain tumors. While these findings were initially
Did they just insert a video of a girl with Down syndrome? Is that what they were conflating that? Because they didn't mention anything about it. My nephew is PKU. Not having phenylalanine is what can affect brain development. Yeah. So therefore, based on this hypothesis, you must drink Diet Coke in order to ensure that your child has a healthy development. I use the glycemic index chart to help combining foods to reduce sugar spikes too. That's a good idea. I did not put that much thought into it. I think my brain's just been fried from so many mixed opinions about different food groups and nutritional ways of thinking about eating that I'm just at a point where, you know, I'll eat some fruit, I'll have like a good tea, and I'll just try not to eat as much junk, and it should be good. I think that's fine. You know, just drink a lot of water, limit caffeine consumption, don't touch the old alcohol-y. Should be good, you know? Thomas, get yourself these aspartame sponsors, yeah. Find me. This video is sponsored by aspartame. Make sure that your child grows up healthy and well. High dose means like 10,000 normal human dose. Yum, aspartame. Oh, I can feel the health benefits flowing within me.
Dismissed, they've since been revisited by scientists concerned about the long-term exposure to aspartame in humans. Personal stories from those who've experienced health problems add a human element to the scientific data, underscoring the real-world impact of aspartame consumption. While the research is still ongoing, the potential risks associated with aspartame are enough to give anyone pause. The food and beverage industry has consistently defended aspartame, citing numerous studies that support its safety. Companies continue to market it as a healthy alternative to sugar, downplaying
It's not
any
healthy.
potential risks.
It's not
But
healthy.
critics argue that many of those studies were funded by the
I swear to God, people don't market it as a health supplement. It's an alternative to sugar, which is arguably not the best thing to be drinking in a beverage. Like, I mean, obviously you get Lucozade, you get like isotonics and stuff, but you know, that's for like athletes and all that. But I don't know. It's health. It's probably good if you are drinking like 4 liters of Coke a day. You're getting all that sugar on your teeth and your body, and you're getting the sugar spikes, and you know you're not feeling good from it. It's affecting your digestive system. You know, perhaps consider drinking water. But if you really can't go without some kind of fizziness, you know, perhaps switch to water. But just have a little Diet Coke here and now. You know, make sure you get that source of phenylalanine. Healthier, not health giving. Yes. No, it is. Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, sugar and sweet things in general are addictive. Yeah, we need sugar. Sugar is good sometimes. It's a carbohydrate. It's like the simplest carbohydrate. It's great for diabetics when they need it. Yeah, that's an argument against Diet Coke, I suppose. Doesn't really do much for the reversing hypoglycemia. Hello, Lexi. Good to see you. Good to see you. We're talking about how aspartame or Diet Coke causes autism, which it doesn't, probably, most likely.
The industry itself, leading to biased results that favour aspartame. This has led to ongoing skepticism and calls for more independent research. The influence of the food industry on regulatory decisions is a point of contention, with many advocating for stricter oversight and greater transparency in the research process. Today, aspartame is approved for use by regulatory bodies worldwide, including the FDA and the EFSA.
Yep.
However, some countries have taken a more cautious approach with stricter regulations or outright bans on aspartame. A global comparison reveals varying levels of acceptance.
Kuwait. The center of I have no idea. Maybe Kuwait is the center of science, where all of our innovations come from. I'm sorry, this is the aspartame. I've had too much Diet Coke today.
For example, some European countries have more stringent regulations while others fully endorse its use. Recent studies continue to investigate the potential health impacts of aspartame, with some suggesting new risks. The debate is ongoing, and as more information emerges, advocacy groups are calling for greater transparency and more rigorous research.
Yeah, I'm definitely not against them looking into the potential toxic side effects of aspartame, but I don't know if this is a useful correlation to make. Right, lots of quality dark chocolate, healthy alternative. There you go. Healthier alternative. Perhaps just don't have chocolate, you know? But maybe you like chocolate, so have some dark chocolate. You know, a bit more of the cocoa solids, you know? Probably a better idea. Or just don't eat chocolate. But some people like eating chocolate, so they have dark chocolate.
As we've seen, the story of aspartame is complex and fraught with controversy. From its approval process to its potential links to serious health issues, aspartame remains a topic of intense debate. So what can you do? Being informed is the first step. Read labels carefully and be aware of what you're putting into your body. Yeah. Consider reducing your intake of artificial sweeteners and exploring natural alternatives. The health of future generations may depend on the choices we make today. By making informed decisions and advocating for more research, we can ensure that the food supply is safe and healthy.
What are you saying? So in a video called Does Diet Coke Cause Autism, you're saying that we should be aware of drinking Diet Coke. For what reason exactly? Are you wanting to get rid of us? That seems a bit questionable. I think pretty much the entirety of like autism and neurodiverse related advocates would be pretty sad to hear that. Autistic people, you know.
And healthy for everyone. Also, I don't know if you lot know this, but not much people can even taste artificial sweeteners. There's certain people where it really stands out on their palate. Me being one of them, and I only know 2 other people that's like that. But it is a real thing. Like when I order certain drinks from fast food places, it's hard to make the decision because I know I'm going to taste that chalk. Like it's actually disgusting. But yeah. Peace.
In a study, the researcher at the University of Texas Health Science Center at San Antonio asked the parents of 235 children with an autism spectrum disorder and 121 children without autism who were the study.
225 children. What percentage of the population does drink Diet Coke? or did drink Diet Coke at that time. I think that would be a good thing to know. Because if it's the same amount, it's like 1 in 3 people have like a Diet Coke a day. It's not enough.
Were the study's controls to complete a retrospective questionnaire about their diet soda and aspartame intake while pregnant or breastfeeding their children. Researchers asked biological mothers, while you were pregnant or breastfeeding your child, how often did you drink diet drinks containing artificial sweeteners? Please count diet sodas first, such as Diet Coke, Diet Dr. Pepper, and Diet Sprite, and then other diet drinks such as Citrus Light, sugar-free Kool-Aid, Slim Fast, and other light drinks. Note, not all the diet beverages contain aspartame. The researchers did not ask women to only think about aspartame-containing diet beverages they consume while pregnant or breastfeeding. However, all drinks listed in the survey's examples do contain aspartame. The team found that boys with autism had more than 3 times the likelihood of having a mother who drank diet soda daily while pregnant or breastfeeding than boys without autism, per the findings published in the peer-reviewed journal Nutrients. Whoa. The researchers did not find a statistically significant association with girls. That's interesting. Why it's more difficult.
The researchers did not find a statistically significant thing with girls. What's the difference? Why would there be a difference? Oh, there we go. A bit that they haven't read. Wait, are they going to talk about it? I hope they are.
Difficult to diagnose girls with autism than boys. These associations do not prove causality.
Yeah, there you go.
That's a different link. But taken in concert with reports from earlier studies of increased prematurity and cardiometabolic health impacts among infants and children exposed daily to diet beverages, holy shit, or aspartame during pregnancy, our findings raise new questions about the potential neurological impacts that need to be addressed.
Well, I guess I've been convinced, you know? Can't argue with that. Does Diet Coke cause autism by OSM Vision? I literally just joined. Oh, yeah. I think it was exactly like what I would think it would be like. So in conclusion, they did one study which looked at aspartame and women who drank aspartame containing beverages in pregnancy and while breastfeeding, and they found a connection with that and autism in boys but not in girls. And do with that as you wish. I suppose. Yeah, couldn't it be a possibility that, you know, perhaps autistic people really like aspartame, and so the mothers of autistic children who are autistic might just... Yeah, but then they didn't find a correlation with the girls, so it doesn't really make any sense. I mean, we need to see some more stuff on this, don't we? Aspartame autism. I mean, there are some articles being put out there by psychiatrist.com, from the UT Health Santarino. This case study, boys who have been diagnosed with autism are more than 3 times as likely as neurotypically developing boys to be born from mothers who reported consuming 1 or more servings a day of diet soda or comparable amounts of artificial sweetener aspartame during pregnancy. Yeah, they don't prove causality. No. See if we can find any other sort of... So they had 235 with ASD, 121 with typical neurological development. From these recalls, exposure odds ratios were computed for all offspring diagnosed with autism and subset of offspring with non-regressive or early onset autism. The researchers found that males diagnosed with autism disorder had triple the odds. Yeah, okay. Why? Why is this being a thing? Have they done any follow-up from this? I mean, this was 2023, right? Can you reverse the effects of aspartame? Maternal aspartame, yep, that's the same one. Another one, 2023. Let's have a look at Reddit. That's always going to be like a really great insight, isn't it? No, thank you. My dad said that aspartame found in diet soda is linked to autism. As an autistic person, I don't think that's true. He said that the guy who made the study did years of research, which quite frankly doesn't make him a medical expert. He's most likely not autistic. I mean, considering that they need a bigger sample size. That's all I'm saying, you know. Tell him that it is bread. Bread makes autistic. Yes, bread make brain go brr. It's definitely milk. Yeah, it's a correlation, not a causation, of course. And it was kind of brushed over in that video that, you know, that's just kind of it's just a minor point, you know. Correlation doesn't always mean causation, but, you know, I'm going to talk about it for the rest of the video. This is BS. Yeah. No, yeah. Honestly, if you're wondering what causes autism, it's usually you have parents who are autistic. That's a pretty good indicator. This is why I don't trust the medical profession. They're implicitly accepting the idea that action needs to be taken to to taken to eugenics was out of existence. Yeah. Okay. And just to say down the microphone why it's a problem, why we should stop drinking aspartame. What? Oh, because it causes autism. Okay. Why would you want to? What would you want to get rid of that? Let's have a conversation. Hope you've enjoyed this. Make sure to like, subscribe, and do all that stuff, and I'll see you later.